Hello, class. Because students sometimes feel some anxiety and uncertainty about the discussion boards and how to do well on them, I thought I would give you a little video supplemental to my instructions on Blackboard on how to do well on the discussion boards. So in there, I tell you that you need to be sure that you read the assigned text before that week begins. That week is when we're discussing them, and so you really need to really be working ahead with the reading so that you can work out your thinking about the reading on the week that we're working on it on the syllabus. And it's important, of course, to read the prompts carefully. You'll generally get a couple of prompts a week. If a work goes over a couple of weeks because it's so long, then you'll get different prompts each week. You'll want to read the responses of your classmates, and you want to log on daily. Sometimes students say, well, what if I don't log on Saturday? Well, missing the occasional day is fine. The bigger problem is what students will often do is they won't log on except maybe once or twice a week, if at all. So what I would recommend that you aim for are two different things. First of all, for each prompt, I would recommend that you have at least one well-developed, full-throated response. One that if you were to take it out of the discussion board and put it, on a regular document page, it would be like a 1 to 2 page response. And in that, where you have a really sort of thought out thesis and you make an argument and you refer specifically to things, rather than talking very generally, you talk about specific things in the text and how they get at your interpretation of what you have to say there. And it isn't necessary that come first. Most students who do well tend to do that early on in the week, though some will do that later on in the week. And the other thing that you need to do is you need to respond to your classmates' posts. And responses need to be more than just say, hey, that's a good post, or I agree with you. No one needs to hear that. This is not some social media website where you like or upvote something. Instead, you need to add something. So you can say, I agree with what Frank said. But if you say that, you need to say, Frank, I agree with what you said here. And also, did you notice that what you're saying here happens over in this scene in the story? Or I want to add this to that. You need to have something substantive to add. So you need to be getting on there and be getting into a conversation with your classmates regarding the works that we're doing during the week. And so if you're doing that, if you have one really solid, full-throated response to each one, and then after that you spend your time really discussing your classmates' responses and talking about them in a thoughtful way, you should be fine. Some mistakes that people make is sometimes instead of actually responding to the prompt in a meaningful way, they either do one of two things. One is they give me a plot summary. We don't need your plot summary. Everyone else in the class has read the story or the poem or whatever the text is for that day. No one needs your plot summary. So leave that out of it. You only need to summarize a part of the plot if that part relates to the specific thing that you're talking about, and then only insofar as it supports sort of the broader argument that you're making. The other mistake that students will make is they will either hear something I've said in class or watch something I've done on a video lecture, and then they will regurgitate that back to me. Everyone else in the class saw that. Everyone else in the class heard that. I know what I said. I don't need to know that you were present and are able to record it and reply back to me. What I want you to do is to think critically about the text and show us that you're capable of critiquing it and analyzing it on your own. If you do those things, you should have nothing to worry about on the discussion boards.